Hello, I'm Mark Seitman, President of the Media Center for Art, Education, and Technology Foundation. We're pleased to bring you once again the Bronco World Series from Monterey, California. We're able to do this because of the most generous support from the Hardin Foundation, the Arts Council, Monterey County Office of Education, and other numerous and generous supporters. Our mobile broadcast unit will allow us to video and televise artistic and sporting events throughout the county. This mobile broadcast unit will also help us train the media students for tomorrow. Also note, this broadcast is entirely produced by local area students. Please help support our efforts to bring the best in student academic achievement, arts, and sports to Monterey County residents. To be a donor, log on to MCAET.org. Let's play ball.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this evening's broadcast of the 2011 Bronco League World Series live from Monterey, California. I'm Matt Arruda, tonight joined in the booth with Evan Tyler.
Hey, happy to be here, Matt. How you doing?
It's a great night for baseball. I'm doing very well. We're excited to bring you this for the 19th year in a row. The Bronco World Series is here in Monterey. It's an event that's been happening, according to our data here in our program, since 1961. But for 19 years in a row, it's been here in Monterey.
What better place?
That's how I feel. Tonight, we're going to see a heck of a matchup, I think. Monterey, the host team from the host city, will be playing a team from Mexico. Officially, Liga La Salle de Obregón, Sonora, Mexico, but tonight we'll be referring to them simply in the interest of time as Mexico. But they are representing Liga La Salle de Obregón from Sonora, Mexico. We have seen some great baseball over the last few days here, and certainly today, the three games that preceded this one and the one that we're about to watch now, probably no exception to that. Monterey, since they are the home team both for the tournament as well as in the record books for tonight, has been in the field. They're in the field first. Mexico will be at bat first. The starting pitcher for Monterey, number 20, Bruce Ball, is on the mound now warming up. He's taking his last warm-up pitch, and they're going to send the first batter for Mexico to the plate. That is number 33, the second baseman, Flavio Sotelo.
Leading off for Obregón, Sonora, Mexico, will be number 30.
Bruce Ball, the pitcher from Monterey, one of a number of different pitchers who has stepped to the mound this weekend in the 2011 World Series. And here we come with the opening pitch in tonight's game. This is Bruce Ball, number 20, the pitcher on the mound, dealing for Monterey.
And
in there for a nice pitch called first strike.
Strike one. Ball starts off consistent, as we've been told. I was talking to his coaches, and that is his MO, his consistency at the strike zone. Let's see how.
Hopefully we won't be too confusing for you listeners or you viewers tonight. The pitcher's last name is Ball. So if we'll do our best to remind you that he does have a first name and that it's Bruce. But right now, Bruce Ball on the mound for Monterey, number 20, has dealt 1 ball and 1 strike to Sotelo, the second baseman. Here's the 1-1 pitch. It's hit well over to second base, fielded cleanly, and down to first for the put-away.
Matthew Gibbs.
I believe it's Daniel Garnett Jr., the second baseman for Monterey, number 19. He fielded that very cleanly, kept that ball in front of him, very fundamental. And now, in a surprise move, considering we only have 1 out here in the top of the first, that's the manager from Monterey, Jim Antone, has taken a jog out to the mound. He wants to have a conversation with his pitcher, Ball. And they brought in the catcher as well. That's Danny Carnazzo, number 7, who's the man behind the plate tonight for Monterey, calling the shots. Antone came out, had a conversation, pretty quick one, probably just to make sure they're all on the same page. But now, number 8, the third baseman, Jorge Acosta, steps to the plate for Mexico.
And here's the windup and the pitch from Ball. Poured in there for strike 1. Again, consistency in the strike zone. His velocity isn't what we've seen so far from some of these kids, but from what we've seen so far, consistency is much more important.
Evan, what we've seen so far, maybe hitting wins games, but as the old saying goes, pitching wins championships.
Absolutely.
And at this level, consistency is a huge factor for a lot of these young boys at age 12 on the mound. Now a 1-1 pitch here with 1 out. This is still Bruce Ball dealing from Monterey. That one's just outside. Now 2 balls and 1 strike to Acosta, the third baseman.
We have 1 out here in the first from beautiful Monterey, California. The 19th annual Bronco World Series. There's the pitch from Ball. Fouled back to the screen by Lacoste. He was right on that one. He fell for the high cheese, I think, Matt.
That's Jorge Acosta, absolutely. That was a good rip for him on that, to be honest. Right-handed batter, checking down to third base coach for some signs. Seeing what's going on here now on a 2-2 pitch. And here's the delivery from Ball. And that one is outside, just misses on the outside. Now Acosta done a great job here at this at-bat of working to a full count.
Acosta has an approach in the box where he's very, very close to the plate. Again, fouled back, pretty much same spot. I think Acosta is on the ball.
Great observation about his stance, Evan. The left foot of Acosta is lined up on the chalked line and very close to that home plate. Yesterday, we saw some pitchers try and brush him back off that a bit. The payoff pitch is in the dirt, and Acosta earns himself a walk as he trots down to first. So Ball now has forced the first batter to ground into an easy infield out, and now has walked the second batter he faced. And up comes in the third spot. This is the starting pitcher for Mexico tonight, number 5, Carlos Barraza, who has homered already in this tournament, and certainly would love to get a piece of one here.
So Costa taking his lead at first base as Ball pours it in for ball 1.
So far, three straight right-handed batters that Ball has seen. One of them he was able to get out. The second one is standing on first. And the third one is going to chop into what looks like it could be a double play ball. They do get the lead runner at second on a nice flip from the shortstop. That's Bishop Ward, number 44 for Monterey. But no throw down to first as Barraza showed some wheels there and getting down to first so quickly.
Yeah, you know, Barraza, he looks like a big kid, and it's no surprise that he is going to be their stopper here pitching tonight, and that he's hit a home run. It's a little chilly here tonight. Pitcher at first base putting on a jacket. That's what we're waiting on as Favela steps in.
Speaking of home runs, this guy, the cleanup who's just stepped into the box, number 12, Samuel Favela, the shortstop for Mexico, had a home run in the last game in a line drive shot that got out of here in a hurry. We were here for that game. We broadcast that game yesterday, and it was a heck of a shot, a line drive to left center that got out of here very, very quickly.
Yeah, that was a bomb. Left center, no chance. So Favela with power. This is the thump. This is the thump of the lineup, and Ball's got his hands full with them. The pitcher takes a short lead at first. Here's the pitch that's outside. That looked like that may have been a intentional pitch out, just to see what Barraza's intentions were at first base, see if he might take off and steal. Ball looks in, checks the runner, and there goes the pitcher, Barraza. He was stealing. It looked like a hit and run. It looked like Mexico was doing quite a bit of that yesterday.
Absolutely. That seemed to be their game plan yesterday. Doesn't look like things have changed today. They had the hit and run on for sure. That was Favela with a big cut there. Just missed it. Foul tipped that back now. 1 ball and 2 strikes, I believe.
Ball checking first base. Here's the pitch. And there's a line drive into left center. That's going to fall for at least a single. And Barraza's trucking to third. They bobble it in the outfield. And now we have runners at second and third. 2 outs. Favela with a rip.
Yeah, absolutely.
Double.
Great shot from him. Again, that same direction that we saw yesterday. Yesterday resulted in a home run. Today, nice little stand-up double. Got out there quick. Unfortunately, was bobbled a bit in the outfield and resulted in an extra base situation.
Favela's,
now up, number 57, Omar Olivaria, the catcher.
Favela's shaking his hands out there. He got some bees stinging on that hit. Bees in his hands. There's the pitch, a little nubber to the second baseman. It looks like Barraza's going to score, and he does. And here comes Favela home, as well as the throw to first base was bobbled by the first baseman. And that error is costly to Monterey early on here. With 2 outs, they're ready to go off the field. Instead, 2 runs are in for Mexico.
And Evan, that's why you tell these kids they got to run out every shot. It looked
Absolutely.
like a fairly routine play. That was going to be an out at first and an end of the inning. Instead, costly error with 2 runs coming across. Now a lefty batter balls first of the evening.
There's the pitch. That's going to be a little dropper into right field. Nice piece of hitting. He fought that low, hard one off.
That was number
Dropped it.
28, Carlos Silva, the right fielder. As now coming up the left fielder, number 23, Omar Lugo. So they've had they certainly look like they've dialed into Bruce Ball, number 20, the pitcher from Monterey. They've sort of figured out his velocity at this point. And as they say, hitting's all about timing, and they've got the timing locked in so far. Now runners on first and second, already a 2-0 lead for Mexico. They have runners on first and second, which technically puts another guy in scoring position, so they are threatening again here as the left fielder and the right-handed batter, Omar Lugo's in the box against Ball. Here's the delivery from Ball. Inside, ball 1 from Ball.
Mexico looking to get in on a 2-out rally if they can.
Ball now looking as he's pitching from the stretch, trying to assess the situation. He should be worried not about the runner at first, but the runner at second, who's doing a little bit of a dance there with his pretty decent lead. But he delivers it anyway, slapped down the first base line to the first baseman, boots it off of his glove. All runners stop after 1 base, and now bases loaded with 2 outs. So, Evan, you're right, a little bit of a 2-out rally here for Mexico.
Yeah, bases loaded for Mario Diaz, the 4th pitcher of the day yesterday for Sonora. He showed the most control on the team. Diaz, a scrappy little hitter. I would not take him lightly if I was Ball.
Ball now approaching 20 pitches in the inning. My unofficial pitch count has him at 18, but I wonder if at this level, really they have him on a pitch count.
Yeah, I would doubt it with 7 innings. I imagine if it got out of hand. There's the pitch from Ball, and that was high and outside to Diaz. Diaz, being quite diminutive, as many of these kids are, they're only 12 after all, has a diminutive strike zone. Hard to pitch to. Here's Ball. It's still in the stretch. Looks the runner's back and throws a real high. Wasn't a breaking pitch, I don't think.
That's why it looked like that almost slipped out of his hands, to be honest. It looked like maybe he was trying to throw a breaking ball or something to the effect, but instead the ball just kind of sailed out of his hands. Now in the hole, 2-0. He misses again inside with his 3rd pitch, now 3-0. He's got no room on the bases as the bags are full.
Ball's in danger of walking home a run.
To be honest, in this case, what do you think with Diaz? Do you give him the green light to swing away here?
I think you don't. And I think Coach,
right on.
Coach Cruz, being the wizard man that he is, did exactly that.
Now a 3-1 count. Let's see if he's got the green light to swing on this. He sure does. Takes a piece at one, takes a stab, misses it, and now
that was ball 4.
Ball had absolutely, that was ball 4. But the pitcher, Bruce Ball, has worked himself back to a full count, which is a great accomplishment for him considering he'd started this in the deficit in the hole 3-0. Here's the payoff pitch with the bases already loaded. The hit and run was on. He gets a solid piece of it.
That looks like a ground rule double. That's going to score 2 runs. Ground rule double
into left center. We've seen quite a few of those, Matt.
Believe it or not, we didn't talk about this at the top of the broadcast, but that outfield fence is only 3 feet high. Although the dimensions of the park are decent, we have 225 down both lines and 250 to dead away center. But that outfield fence is only 3 feet high. And so not the first time this weekend we've seen a ball, a seemingly long single or double, head back toward the fence and then hop over for a ground rule double.
And here's Estrada up to the plate, number 9, a lefty. He swung at a strike that was definitely in the zone, fouled it straight back, probably hit somebody's car, as you heard from the audience here, the packed audience. There's the pitch from Ball, and that's high and outside to Estrada. Estrada, stocky kid, looks like he's got some power. I wouldn't take Estrada lightly here, Matt.
Absolutely. Ball has not done great against the lefties so far. Let's see how he deals here. And a 1-1 pitch misses. And now 2 balls and 1 strike for the pitcher, Bruce Ball, who is dealing to Yavi Estrada, the first baseman, number 9, for Team Sonora, Mexico.
Runners at second and third. Estrada up. Sonora's already put 4 runs on the board. Here's the pitch from Ball, and that's ripped into right field, over the right fielder's head, and another
ground rule double.
Ground rule double.
My goodness.
Estrada put that just over the right fielder's glove. He almost had that one.
Not for lack of effort.
No.
The right fielder, Michael Wilson from Monterey, outstretched, trying to make a play on that ball, just missed it, pops right over his glove, and then takes a hop, a favorable hop for the batter anyway, over the fence, and another ground rule double, the second of this top of the first inning.
We're back to the top of the order. It's Flavio Sotelo, who actually made the first out of the ball game. We have Estrada at second. Here's the pitch, and that's lined into center field. The center fielder dives and makes a fantastic catch. Great catch. That's one of the best plays that we've seen all weekend. That was Joseph Kolpatsik, the center fielder, number 5, with an absolutely stunning catch.
And every evening you can join us at 7 o'clock on MCAET Comcast 26, which is probably where most of you are watching us tonight.
There's pitch 1 to Bishop Ward.
That is the shortstop, number 44 in the box for Monterey. And on the mound for Mexico, number 5, Carlos Barraza, the pitcher.
Barraza has some velocity behind his pitches. That first strike was dead on. There's ball 2. I'm sorry. There's pitch 2, ball 1 to Bishop Ward. That was low in the zone. Got past the catcher. That was a theme that we noticed yesterday from Mexico.
And as you speak of his velocity, almost on cue, the catcher has trouble handling that second pitch there. One in the dirt. Something we saw fairly often yesterday from this Mexico team.
That was problematic for Mexico yesterday. They gave up a lot of runs on pass balls. And there's the pitch to Ward. That was high and tight for ball 2. Counts 2-2. Barraza definitely dealing more so than the pitchers of yesterday. That pitch had some velocity on it for ball 3, but definitely intimidating, probably to any 12-year-old, and certainly to myself, Matt. I don't know if I could step in with this guy.
Yeah, and most of the batters we've seen have not shied away from staying in tight in that batter's box. And as Ward draws a nice walk, a leadoff walk to start the bottom of the first for Monterey, already finding themselves in a hole 6-0.
And this was Mexico's biggest issue yesterday, walks and pass balls.
Yeah, we did see 5 different pitchers from Mexico yesterday. And we'll see if that repeats itself today as Gibbs, the third baseman, Matthew Gibbs, takes a called first strike from Barraza.
And you know, Mexico looking to get a win here. I think they put Barraza, their ace, on the mound. Barraza looks, there goes the runner, the throw to second base, and he is out.
Now on so many levels, that is a phenomenal play. The catcher being able to take that pitch and deliver basically a strike. The coverage on second base was perfect. The throw was perfect. The tag got down.
Everything worked.
Just a fundamentally fantastic pickoff play.
Omar Oliveira, the catcher, had problems throwing to second base yesterday, so he makes up for it today. There's a ball to
1 ball and 2 strikes now to Matthew Gibbs, the third baseman for Monterey.
Barraza in the windup. There's the pitch. Strike 3. That was a tough pitch to take, tough pitch to hit, right in on the hands. Looks like when Barraza can hit the strike zone, he's devastating.
We did not see him as one of the 5 pitchers we saw yesterday. And to be honest, from what I've seen in this early goings, I'm wondering why we didn't see him yesterday.
I agree. That was a tough West Hills team that they went up against and lost to. There's strike 1 to Carnazzo.
That's the catcher, number 7, Danny Carnazzo, the man who's calling the shots from behind the plate for this Monterey team. Now steps into the box from the right-hand side, seeing if he can do some damage and help a little 2-out rally of their own here.
There's the pitch from Barraza, and that one is swung on and missed for strike 2, and Carnazzo quickly finds himself in the hole. 0-2. Now's where you choke up, Matt. Choke up on the bat, see if you can just put some composite on the ball. High, very high in the zone. Not a bad choice from Barraza. See if Carnazzo will fish for that high, hard one. He didn't. Good discipline from Carnazzo. Barraza looks in. Here's the windup. Pitch. Little high and tight. Running the count at 2-2.
Nice job by Carnazzo here. Not to get down on himself when he found himself 0-2. Worked it back to even now at 2-2. He's staying in there, checking down to third for a sign. Isn't getting one, so let's see what happens here as Barraza deals on the 2-2 with 2 outs here in the bottom of the first.
And there's the pitch. That one's low for ball 3. And Carnazzo started out 0-2. Now we are 3-2. This is a great duel right here. Carnazzo with discipline. Barraza with the velocity and just barely missing on some of those pitches. And here's the payoff pitch. Swung on and missed. That was an outside smoke that Carnazzo just couldn't catch up with. I don't know if I could, Matt.
Now Mexico coming back to the plate. This is the man batting in the second spot, number 8, Jorge Acosta, the third baseman.
Acosta worked a walk last time, and we'll see if he has the same kind of discipline this time against Bruce Ball. And here's the pitch from Ball. That's a little high. LaCosta is a little bit little, so it's difficult to hit that strike zone.
Having my unofficial pitch count had Ball with 30 pitches in the first inning. We're going to see if fatigue becomes an issue for him.
I think it might. And there's a rip single. Oh, and it goes past the under the left fielder's glove. And it looks like LaCosta's going to turn a single into a double on the error by the left fielder. And Mexico has a runner in scoring position already here in the second inning. That was a line drive right in the hole. Nice piece of hitting.
That was a great piece of hitting as the pitcher now steps in for Mexico. This is Barraza, number 5, Carlos. It's pitcher versus pitcher here.
This is the thump. This is the beginning of the thump from Mexico. Barraza takes a pretty serious cut at it and fouls
Evan, that
it
thump
off.
you're referring to is that the fact that the 3, 4, and 5 hitters for Mexico have all homered this weekend here in Monterey, and that doesn't even take into account the ground rule doubles that we've seen. These
Yeah.
are just the legitimate home runs that we've seen have come from Barraza and the next two batters as well.
And some of these kids are hitting bombs out here. We saw a kid from West Hills hit an absolute bomb yesterday. One of these kids from Mexico hit one. So there's definitely a lot of great action down here at the ballpark. Come on down if you can. Ball looks back. The runner at second throws a little bit low and outside to Barraza. Barraza showing some great plate discipline. The count is 1-1. Ball from the stretch. Looks in at the sign. Looks back at second base. Looks like they might have a play on. No, there's the pitch, and that almost hits Barraza. Pass ball, and Jorge Lacosta winds up at third.
Now, to be honest, Evan, Ball's just got to take a deep breath and say to himself, hey, forget about the runner at third. Let's worry about the guy here at the plate. He's now even in the count.
It's 2-1. Close enough. You know, as far as Ball's concerned, like you were saying, as far as his confidence goes, really, there should only be a runner on first base. There were 2 errors that have taken Jorge Lacosta to third base. Now it's 3-1, and here's the pitch to his counterpart, Barraza, who takes it low and inside for ball 4. Runners at first and third with no outs. We have a timeout called. The catcher having a chat with his pitcher.
That's number 7, Danny Carnazzo, taking a stroll out to the mound, having a chat with Ball and saying, hey, forget about this. Maybe he just told him exactly what you said. They're like, look, he gave up a single, big deal.
Yep.
Let's not have this rattle you. The guy got to third. Don't worry about him. Take care of business with the guy at the plate. You got a nice potential double play situation. If you can get this next batter, which is number 12, Samuel Favela, the shortstop, to ground into a double play, would be a nice little confidence booster here.
Favela is that player that hit the bomb from Mexico yesterday, the long home run, and he takes a nice cut at it this time. That's deep to center field, and it looks like Acosta is going to come home on the sac fly, and that runs the score up to 7-0 with no outs here in the second.
Good piece of base running by Acosta there at third. He saw it, took a hop at first thinking maybe it was out of here. Realized it was going to be just a long out, and hustled back to the bag, was patient, waited for the call from his coach, and came home on the tag up.
About 10 feet away from another home run. Ball looks in.
This is Ball now dealing to number 57, Omar Olivaria, the catcher
Who,
for this Sonora, Mexico team.
Reached on an error in his last at-bat. Ball with the pitch, and that's reached by Olivaria. Clearly he was fooled by that one. Nice pitch from Ball.
That was a great job. We said earlier that hitting is all about timing, and I got to say that pitching is all about disrupting that timing of your hitters. In that case, a great job of disrupting him by Ball. Had him fooled, and almost a half-hearted swing there.
Ball looks in. There's the pitch, and that's ripped foul past the third baseman. Olivaria was way ahead of that one. And
Nice job by Ball disrupting the timing of these batters now.
Absolutely. He's got Olivaria off balance. Lunged at the first one. Swung too early on that one.
No balls, 2 strikes. Ball's ahead in the count here. Let's see what he does as he's dealing again to the catcher from this Mexico team.
Runner at first base takes a look. the pitcher steals again with a no throw from the Monterey catcher. So we have a runner at second base, the pitcher Barraza.
Evan, I almost thought that was a pitch out at one point, but then when I looked to see second base, no one was covering. So maybe a miscommunication, or maybe not a pitch out on that one.
There's another confusing pitch to Omar Oliveira. He seems to be befuddled by ball. The only one he's really had a beat on was that rip past the third baseman. That was a foul ball. The count is 1-2 to the catcher Omar Oliveira. Ball looks to second, then looks in for the sign, and here's the pitch. That one's high. Oliveira, easy take on that one. That was up at his eyeballs. Running the count to 2-2 with one out here in the second. 7-0. Mexico over Monterey. Ball makes another pitch a little outside in the zone, running the count full with one out here. There's Ball pitching from the stretch. Oliveira showing great discipline. He's run the count full. There's the pitch. That one looked close to me, but I'm not the umpire, and Ball walks Oliveira.
And that's got to be frustrating for Ball as a pitcher. Not a really bad at-bat from a pitcher's standpoint. Had the batter fooled, but the batter being patient and disciplined enough, able to get a walk out of it on a 9-pitch at-bat.
And here's Carlos Silva stepping in. He's a lefty, singled in his first at-bat off a ball. Ball looks to second, looks to first, and here's the pitch. That one's high. That was an off-speed pitch, I think, to Carlos Silva, who is 1 for 1 in the game.
He is the right fielder for this Mexico team. Hitting, although he throws right, he's hitting from the left-hand side of the plate. Lefty batter.
Ball looks in, makes the pitch. A little nubber dribbler. Third baseman steps on the bag, throws to first. That looked like a double play to me, and yes, that was a double play. Nice play by the third baseman, Matthew Gibbs. Great
Absolutely
situational
phenomenal.
awareness.
Pitcher versus pitcher here. Number 20, Bruce Ball, the starting pitcher for Monterey, is now in the box. Now showing bunt here. That's a great piece of bunting by Ball. Let's see if he can dig it out.
And he does.
He does at first. Phenomenal. Once again, a great bunt. Got it down right in the dirt, right in front of home plate, and got on his horse right away and dug it out down the line. Granted, he was helped that the first baseman for this Mexico team, who is Yave Estrada, number 9, had a little trouble handling the throw, but he's in there at first with a leadoff bunt.
Oh, and here is Christian Wright, the lefty, stepping in. That was real tight to Wright, and it looked like it hit him. The Monterey coach is lobbying for that, but Wright wants to stay in. He's saying he wasn't hit.
That's Jim Antone, who's the manager for Monterey, also the third base coach here.
Ball went to second on that during all the confusion. That was a nice heads-up play by Ball, as the ball was still in play. Barraza now has 1 strike on Christian Wright, the lefty, who fouls that pitch off straight back. Christian Wright looks like he's right on Barraza. Gosh, there's a lot of puns going on today.
Regardless of what the scoreboard shows, if that pitch was inside and didn't hit him, it should have been a ball. So it should be 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Absolutely.
At this point. Nice chopper over to short. See how the shortstop handles it. Whew. Speaking of textbook fielding.
Yeah.
That looked effortless from the shortstop for this Mexico team, number 12, Samuel Favela.
Favela's a tall kid. Tall kid, long levers. So he has the potential to throw, to have a strong throw over there at the first, which he demonstrated. That Ball's at third.
And Kolpasic, Joseph Kolpasic, the center fielder, number 5 from Monterey, takes a called first strike on the first pitch there.
Kolpasic looking at Barraza, who throws it low and outside, running the count to 1-1 with 1 out here in the second. Monterey threatening here with ball at third base. Kolpasic takes the pitch, and there's a snap throw to third base. Ball got in just barely, and he's safe over there at third. Nice.
You know what, Evan? Monterey
accurate
can't get
snap
ahead
throw.
of itself here. I know they're looking at the scoreboard, seeing 7-0 as their deficit. But let's be, I mean, they've really got to be patient here and take it 1 run at a time. No one play is going to get them 7 runs.
You're absolutely right, and I think that's what their coach is trying to impart to them, that we got to settle down. No sort of, mercy rule can take effect until the 5th inning anyway, so let's just settle in and see what we can do to Barraza. There's the pitch. That was a check swing by Kolpasic. We don't.
They're going to say it didn't go. There's no
haven't seen
appeal
a
to
call
it.
yet, but the umpire didn't make a call whether it was a strike or a ball.
So we're going to call it 2-2.
2-2 here to Kolpasic. And there's strike 3, a punch out by Barraza, who clearly has command and velocity tonight, something that is difficult to face as a 12-year-old.
I will say that outside corner for righty batters has been the demise of a lot of young boys here this weekend. The home plate umpire has given the call to a lot of pitchers on when it's a righty batter on that outside corner. All the pitchers we've seen are right-handed, and when that pitch is coming across and tailing away from the right-handers, the home plate umpire has given the benefit of the doubt to the pitcher all weekend.
The second baseman, Ronan McCarthy, takes the first pitch for a strike, takes the second pitch from Barraza for a strike, and McCarthy's quickly in the hole, 0-2. Ball still at third base. Monterey definitely has a chance to score a run here. That one was low. Barraza toying with the strike zone, seeing if McCarthy wants to chase. Barraza, he looks like he's in command out there. He's picking up dirt. He doesn't look nervous. He's not slumping his shoulders like some of them were yesterday. There's the windup, the pitch. That was a fastball in on the hands of McCarthy. He's feeling some bees right now, I imagine.
That was a heater from
hands.
Barraza, trying to put him down on a dramatic pitch.
That was a dirty, dirty pitch from Barraza, as the count is 1-2. Barraza looking in. They're going outside, high and outside. That was that almost looked like a pitch out, as the catcher Olivaria was in a half squat.
Here he is again, setting up outside.
Setting up outside, swing and a miss from McCarthy.
As we are heading back to the diamond for action, Monterey is now taking the field. They have sent Bruce Ball, the starting pitcher, back to the mound. That's number 20 for Monterey. He's on the mound. And he is set to deal to number 23, Omar Lugo, the left fielder from Mexico.
Lugo, tall, lanky kid, looking at Ball. Here's the pitch from Ball. And that is a ball, low in the zone. Lugo must be a breath of fresh air for the pitcher from Monterey, Ball, because he is quite tall and has a much easier strike zone than some of his counterparts. Here's the windup in the pitch, swung on and missed by Lugo. Lugo was right on that one as he fouled it straight back to the fence. Just missed that one.
You may have noticed, courtesy of our fantastic camera work, that Bruce Ball is pitching from the stretch. He pitches from the stretch by default. There are no runners on, and as a young pitcher, he does pitch from the stretch. Doesn't get both feet on the rubber, as he's now set to go here on the 1-1 pitch. And just misses a little bit high. Now 2 balls and 1 strike to Lugo.
When I was a pitcher in Bronco, depending on how I felt, I would do the same thing. I would sometimes just pitch straight out of the stretch. And here's Ball from the stretch, looking at Lugo with 2-1. again high as ball is consistently so far at this at bat missing high in the zone. The count is 2-1 to Lugo, the tall, lanky right fielder from Sonora, Mexico. And here's the pitch from Ball. Again, high and inside, right at his eyeballs. And that was an easy take for Lugo, who starts off this third inning with a walk.
5-pitch walk earned by Lugo there with some patience. And that prompts our catcher, Danny Carnazzo, number 7 from Monterey, to take a jog out to the mound, have a quick chat with Ball, probably ask him if everything's all right, because a couple of those balls look like they came out of his hand a little late, or he lost control of them and they sailed a little high in the strike zone, or not even in the strike zone, pardon me, out of the strike zone high.
And here's Diaz, who had a ground rule double in his first at bat, as Ball looks the runner at first base back to the bag. Mexico is prone to hit and running and stealing, and we'll see what happens here. The pitch from Ball. The runner is going. Nice throw by the catcher. The second baseman missed it. And another play at third base, and Omar Lugo has gone from first to third on a throwing error by the catcher.
Yeah, what I'm assuming is going to be credit for a stolen base and then a throwing error.
Yes.
The pitch was there. The pickoff play was there in time. It almost looked like he booted it out. It came in a little bit low. It almost looked like he kicked it out into shallow left center.
Could be. Ooh, Diaz can't lay off the high hard one.
On that previous pitch was a definite hit and run because that ball was way out of the strike zone. And Diaz was swinging no matter what.
I believe the count is 1-2. The scoreboard does not reflect that. Here's the pitch from Ball. Again, high. Diaz pops it up. The third baseman's calling it. Drops the ball. Lugo at third bluffs home but does not go. And we have runners at first and third base with no outs here in the third, and Mexico is threatening again.
To be honest, Ev, on that one, I think that the third baseman, Gibbs for Monterey, maybe saw in the corner of his eye, looked like the runner was heading home or was dancing around a little bit off of third base and took his eye off that ball just for a second, long enough to have it pop off the heel of his glove.
Very confusing, very confusing.
Now in the box, number 9, Yave Estrada, the first baseman for this Mexico team, hitting from the left-hand side of the plate.
Estrada, stocky, looks like he has some power. And there goes Diaz, uncontested to second base with
almost
a steal.
looked like a called pitch out there because it was way up and out, but no coverage at second and no throw. Could have been the hop that Diaz had on that. But regardless, Estrada now 1 ball, no strikes, and back in the box waiting for the deal from Ball.
And there's a rip down the first baseline. That's going to score 2. And number 9, Yave Estrada with a double.
Great piece of hitting for the left-handed batter on that one. Able to hop right on it, get his hands over it, pulled it right down the first baseline, just past the outstretched hands of the first baseman from Monterey, number 23, Christopher Wright. Went deep down in the corner of the ballpark. A stand-up double for Estrada as Mexico gets back to the top of the batting order. Number 33, Flavio Sotelo, the second baseman, now in the box.
Yave Estrada, in his previous at-bat, had a ground rule double, so he's 2 for 2 now in the game.
Still no outs here in the top of the third. Mexico 9-0 with another runner in scoring position.
There's the pitch from Ball, and that one's chopped to the left fielder who lets it bounce in front of him. There seems to be some confusion on the field. Not sure what's going on. Timeout is called, as that was a routine single, and the bases are now loaded again for Mexico, and Ball finds himself with no outs in the hole
That looks like Coach Dan Garrett has now come out to the mound for Monterey.
You know, I talked to Dan Garrett earlier, and he told me that this team was a scrappy Monterey team, and I can tell they are. They are a scrappy team. And I asked him if you could compare from a major league perspective, what do we have here? Do we have the misfit Giants or the clean-cut Yankees? And he went with the scrappy A's. That Monterey resembled a scrappy Oakland A's team.
Maybe an American League fan.
Could be. Could be.
Back to the action. They keep Ball on the mound, and Ball now set to deal again here.
Ball.
To number 8, Jorge Acosta, the third baseman.
Ball appears to be clearly shaken up as the bases are loaded with no outs. Lacosta, the right-hander, takes a ball outside. Check that. Runners at first and second with no outs here in the third inning. Here's the pitch from Ball. Taken low, 2-0 to Lacosta. 2 balls, no strikes to Lacosta, who is, like many of the batters here, crowding the plate. Ball checks the runner at second. Fakes a pickoff play. And the runner's back. Lacosta, in his previous at-bat, has had a single and a walk, so he's 1 for 1. Ball checks the runner. Here's the pitch. That one's high and tight to Lacosta, who has a diminutive strike zone, so difficult to pitch to. Looks like we have a timeout called by the officiating staff. It looks like we have an equipment issue at second base as the second baseman, Daniel Garrett Jr. needed to tuck his shirt in that.
Near wardrobe malfunction here.
Wardrobe malfunction. Well, you'll see it all here if you come out and watch the ball game. There's the pitch from Ball, and Lacosta.
And Evan, that's that outside corner we were talking about earlier. For that, when a righty pitcher's been facing a righty batter, these officials all weekend have been very generous with that outside corner.
They do like the outside corner, indeed. And Lacosta smokes one foul.
That was a
past
shot.
His head coach. That was an ugly finder, right?
He hopped on it.
That was an ugly finder.
That was a shot right down, nearly getting his manager there on the third base side of it, just a bit ahead. But Acosta now stepping back in. The count is full, 3-2, and Bruce Ball dealing with the payoff pitch here.
And here's the windup in the pitch. That one is taken for ball 4, and once again, Mexico has the bases loaded with no outs. The score is 9-0 here in the third inning. Barraza, Ball's counterpart, steps up to the plate. Barraza is a large 12-year-old, and he looks like he knows what he's doing with the bat.
This is the meat of the order for Mexico, the 3, 4, 5 hitters who have all already homered this weekend.
The thump. And there's a drive by Barraza.
And he sends it soaring for a grand slam home run.
Grand slam from Barraza, right on cue. As I was describing his confidence in the batter's box. We haven't seen a grand slam here yet.
That's the first I've seen this weekend. And he absolutely had the speed and the timing dialed in of Bruce Ball's pitch, waited on it, first pitch of the at-bat, and just smokes one over the left center field. Deep left center. The fence marks 250 to straight away, but that easily cleared the fence. That's got to be a 265-foot home run, I would say at least.
Would have been a home run in right field in Yankee Stadium.
That is correct. That short porch and right.
Short porch and right, Yankee Stadium, and Fenway, I believe.
Promptly on that one, after that grand slam home run by the pitcher from Mexico, Jim Antone, the manager from Mexico, trots out to the mound. to make a pitching change. He checks in with the officials, and
Looks like we have a lefty.
Looks like we're going to see our first lefty pitcher of the afternoon, or excuse me, of the evening.
Taking some warm-up pitches here. We'll give him a couple minutes for some warm-up pitches as Monterey is down 13-0 here in the third inning.
Our new pitcher for Monterey is going to be number 51, Ethan Morris. Ethan Morris inheriting no runners on base, but no outs here in the top of the third, but he is inheriting a 13-run deficit for his squad.
You know, I talked to Ethan's dad before the ball game. Ethan's dad is an Army chaplain who's here in full Army regalia in his camouflage, showing his colors. And he threw out the first pitch in honor of our armed forces.
A decorated member of the Army at that. Listening to his bio during the opening ceremony was pretty impressive, and it took a while to read all of the awards that his dad had received. So this is Ethan Morris. He's the lefty. First lefty pitcher that I've seen this weekend.
Indeed.
And we've seen our fair share of games, as this is game number 14 of the weekend. There were 3 games on Thursday, 3 games on Friday. We had 4 games on Saturday and another 4 games today on Sunday. But we're not done yet. We still have 4 days left.
A lot of baseball left to go.
Plenty of time to come down here to Monterey Jacks Park. Looks like Morris is done warming up. And we're going to get back to the action as number 12, Samuel Favela, steps in. He's a right-handed batter, the shortstop for this Mexico team. He has already homered this weekend, however. So
yesterday,
Morris is stepping in right into the line, right into the hot seat here, although he's inheriting no runners. But he does see a 13-run deficit for his squad, and the cleanup batter right now, number 12, Samuel Favela.
You know, Ethan Morris has only been here for 6 months. I talked to his mother as well, and she said that they just moved here, and Ethan's really happy, very grateful to be on this squad and to be part of this Little League World Series, this Bronco World Series. Ethan looks in, and here's the pitch. He has a nice windup, and that one is smoked to the left fielder, who makes a good play, gets it into his cutoff man, and that's a solid single by Samuel Favela, the shortstop.
Now the number 5 hitter coming up, number 57, the catcher Omar Olivaria for Mexico, already homered this weekend. And now for the first time, a righty batter seeing the lefty pitching from Monterey. There's Morris, who is still pitching with a nice delivery, left-handed big leg kick, and misses outside for ball 1.
He has great classic form.
Now he does have a runner on first, but as a lefty pitcher, he's naturally already facing first base. So he's pitching sort of from the stretch. Misses inside now to that pitch, and that's ball 2. Looks like Morris is shaking his left arm a little bit after some of his pitches. Not sure if he's still feeling a little tight. I'm not sure if he got enough time to warm up.
I imagine he's pretty nervous, Matt.
He's into it now.
I would be if I was 12. Oh, and that's a nice pickoff move. He's got a great move to first. That's the first time he showed us that.
For regardless of the age, for anybody as a lefty pitcher.
Would have fooled me. I would have been out.
That is a great pickoff move.
Favela.
Looking over to first.
Favela knows what he's doing over there at first. He got back quickly, and here's the pitch from Morris. And that one is swung on down the left field line. A fair ball, a home run. Home run by the catcher, Olivaria. There's the second home run in 3 batters as Mexico goes up now 15-0 here in the third.
Sorry for the late call on that. We from our vantage point, it looked foul, but we were waiting for the signal from the third base umpire, or the umpire down the third base line.
And he wasn't too sure either.
And to be honest, it wasn't a very confident gesture by him.
No.
But it was deemed enough a fair enough anyway, to be a 2-run home run, as we now have a lefty-on-lefty battle brewing here. That is number 28, Carlos Silva, the right fielder for this Mexico team, who is batting from the left-hand side of the plate. And Morris, the new pitcher, Ethan Morris, number 51 for this Monterey team, the lefty pitcher. Still no outs here in the third inning. 2 balls and no strikes. Morris deals again.
That looked like he was trying an off-speed pitch there and missed a little high. Silva does have a single in this ball game already. The lefty steps in. Morris takes the sign. And here's the delivery. And nice inside-out approach from Silva as he strokes it to left field for a single.
Silva stuck the bat out, took a stab at that one, was able to lift it right over the third baseman's head, and now still with no outs here in the top of the third and a 15-run lead. Mexico sends their next batter to the plate. That's number 23, the left fielder, Omar Lugo.
Lugo reached on a error in the first, walked in the second. There's that nice pickoff attempt by Morris again.
The wind has started to pick up now, and as I'm watching, it's blowing from left to right. I wonder if that wind had something to do with that down-the-line home run we just saw.
Could have, absolutely, because that was a high fly ball. And again, a lunge at an outside pitch. Morris seems to be fooling these righties pretty well with that corner pitching, as we've seen some off-balance lunges by these Sonoran batters. Lugo looking at Morris. Morris checks first base. Here's the pitch. And that one is chopped to the left fielder. Line drive straight at him. Easy put out for the left fielder.
Handled easily by number 28, Ronan McCarthy. Nice out. And you know what? That's the first out of the inning. But nice, solid defensive effort by Monterey there. They still have a guy on first for Mexico as the new batter. Mario Diaz, number 7, the center fielder for Mexico, steps to the plate.
Mario Diaz reached on a ground rule double in the first and reached on an error in the second and hits one straight up the middle past the pitcher for a single here, putting runners at second and first with 1 out here in the third inning.
And because of Morris is a left-handed pitcher, he actually finishes his follow-through on the other side of the mound there. Had he been a right-handed pitcher, he might have actually been able to field that.
Might have had a shot, absolutely.
But with his left-handed delivery, he finishes on what would be, from our perspective, the left-hand side of the mound. So that ball straight up the middle for a single. Now with 1 out, runners on first and second. Morris dealing to another left-handed batter. This time, number 9, Yave Estrada, takes a stab at it, misses, and it's no balls and 1 strike.
Yave had a ground rule double in the first and a 2-run double in the second. So he's batting 1,000 in this game. Morris, runners, second, first, looks in at his catcher. Takes a peek at second base. Here's the delivery. That one's high to Yave Estrada.
Yave Estrada.
Ball 1, strike 1 to Estrada. 1 out here in the third. Morris likes the sign from his catcher. Wind up, here's the delivery. That one's taken low and inside for a ball. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Evan, I have to say the body language of these hitters from Mexico says a lot.
Confident.
They look very confident in that box. They're coming in, they have their little routines, a lot of them have, in terms of adjusting the uniform or their helmet. They take a nice couple of little practice waves of the bat, but they look very confident against these Monterey pitchers.
They have their swagger going. Ooh, and Estrada swings right through that one. Looks like Morris blew that one right by him. That's got to give Morris some great confidence.
That was a big rip from the first baseman, Estrada. But he...
maybe a little greedy.
Maybe. But he looks no different. Still that swagger of confidence there as it's lefty on lefty, and Morris is dealing again.
That one's high and tight as Estrada has to get out of the way. 3-2 1 out. Runners at first and second for the pitcher, Morris. Morris,
I think on your monitor there, you just caught the practice swing by Estrada. He literally looked like almost like David Ortiz practice swing there, swinging for the fences as he stepped out of the box. We'll see if it plays as Morris deals the 3-2 here. And just misses outside, so Estrada earns himself a pass down to first base on a walk, and the bases are loaded with 1 out here in the top of the third as this Mexico lineup rolls around back to the top of the batting order, number 33, Flavio Sotelo, the second baseman.
We've got timeout called for a second by the second baseman, goes and talks to Morris. There is action in the bullpen for Monterey. Monterey may be thinking about a pitching change here with 1 out in the third inning. Bases loaded to Flavio, who hits one to the third baseman, who rushes to third base for the out. He kicked it around a little bit. A run scores, but Monterey gets the out they really needed.
And that's a great job by the third baseman. That's Matthew Gibbs over there from Monterey, number 3. Sure, he bobbled it, but he was able to compose himself and say, you know what? I know the situation. I know the bases are loaded. I know I got to force out here at third. All I've got to do is maintain or regain my composure, scoop this ball up, and beat the runner over to third base and just step on the bag and get a much-needed second out. As Morris now deals high and outside for a first pitch ball.
He has been having a good game, the third baseman, Matthew Gibbs. He's been, he's made some key plays for Monterey.
This is Jorge Acosta, the right-handed batter, who plays third base for Mexico. Now seeing 2 balls outside, so it's 2 balls, no strikes. Your score here in the top of the third with 2 outs. Sonora, Mexico 16, Monterey 0.
Morris takes the sign, looks at second, thinking about first. There's a pickoff play to second base as the second baseman misses the ball, and a throw to third base is not in time as the runner is safe at third on the overthrow by the catcher.
Pretty deceptive pickoff move there from the pitcher. I think, to be honest, he even had his teammates fooled. But he hopped around and went for a pickoff play at second. A little difficult for a lefty pitcher to do that.
There's a ground ball to the shortstop. Throws it to first, and it's in the dirt. Runners advance, a run scores. The ball goes back to the pitcher, and Monterey looking at runners at second and third with 2 outs here in the third. The score 16-0 in favor of the team from Mexico.
Danny Carnazzo, number 7, the catcher for Monterey, takes a jog out to the mound to have a quick conversation with Ethan Morris, the first substitute pitcher that we've seen of the night from Monterey. But on that last play, that's why you dig out every ball, really.
Absolutely.
It ended up being a difficult one hop for the first baseman of Monterey, Christopher Wright, to handle.
Barraza's last at bat was a grand slam. And here's the pitch from Morris. That one's taken low by Barraza.
This time Barraza has 2 runners aboard, not 3, as he had last time.
Barraza is the pitcher. He's a flame-throwing pitcher. He's a big kid, as 12-year-olds go, and it's not a surprise that he hit a home run earlier. Here's the pitch from Morris, and Barraza stabs at that one, looking a little too eager, as I'm sure that his mojo is up after that grand slam.
And this is where some of that confidence that we've seen from these Mexico batters might actually hurt them in this situation.
That's a good thought. I think you're right, Matt. They may get a little over-anxious here, and that could prove to be in Monterey's favor.
Now 2 outs here in the top of the third. Mexico trying to add to a 17-run lead that they have here over Monterey.
Morris, the pitcher, looking in. He has runners at second and third with 2 outs. And there's the pitch to Barraza, who smokes one through the third and shortstop hole. Here's the throw home. Play at the plate, and he's out. Nice throw by the left fielder, Ronan McCarthy. And a great tag, pickup and tag by the catcher, Danny Carnazzo. As once again, Monterey exits on a high defensive note.
Mexico kind of interesting with a 17-run lead. Almost trying to pour some salt in the wound, it seemed, and send that runner from second.
Yeah.
But the Monterey defensive players in the field said, "Hey, we're still playing ball here. We're still paying attention."
Yep.
And they made that wise throw to home where Carnazzo picked it up and was able to nab the runner.
And, you know, I don't know if that's bad sportsmanship or anything on Mexico's part. I think these are just kids reacting and things like that. I'm sure the coaches have nothing to do with things like that. These are kids looking at opportunities and trying to take them. And Barraza with a pitch into Michael Wilson. His second pitch is a ball, and running the count to 1-1. This is Wilson's first at bat of the ball game here in the third inning. Barraza lined up in the pitch, and that one's fouled.
Evan, according to my unofficial pitch count, Barraza now approaching 40 pitches. He's at 37 on the night. This is, in fact, only the bottom of the third inning. It's only the third chance that Monterey has come to the plate. And Barraza approaching 40 pitches on the night.
Barraza pours some smoke in a little bit outside. It's a nice take by Wilson.
And that's some discipline from Wilson because that outside corner has been the bread and butter for these pitchers all weekend.
There's another low pitch to Wilson. Barraza looks like he really knows how to work the strike zone. I think he's expecting Wilson to really fish for that low one, and he actually kind of looks dejected right now, thinking maybe he should have had that call or perhaps disappointed in himself.
And there's a called third strike. That's a great-looking pitch from Barraza on that one. You know what, Evan? You know what I'm still impressed by? You look over. We just had a shot of the Monterey dugout. The Monterey dugout, all the kids are still up. They're still standing. They're standing at the fence, and they're cheering on their squad. Big deal. They see the scoreboard. That's not a problem for them. They're out here to play ball, and they're standing up. They're still cheering on their team, offensively and defensively, as we see the manager.
The skipper, Cruz, is out. I think he's probably asking Barraza if he wants to maybe take some practice throws or perhaps to take him out.
It was, in fact, a long rest in between innings for Barraza. I think you're right, Evan. I think he maybe got a little tight while doing that, as this Mexico team more than hit around their lineup, as they've now put 18 runs on the board in 3 innings.
And Cruz, being the wizened skipper that he is, I'm sure recognizes that it's getting a little chilly out. Barraza, you know, had been hanging out in the dugout for a long time, and maybe saw a little hitch in Barraza's giddy up. Give him a couple, a few more throws, get him a little bit more warmed up to avoid injury. That's the last thing we want with these kids, is some injury.
Absolutely. Now 1 out here in the bottom of the third as Barraza's now dealing to number 19, Daniel Garrett Jr., the second baseman for Monterey. It's a called first strike on that pitch from Barraza. And now looking at the no balls, 1 strike pitch. Misses outside to the lefty batter, and it's 1-1.
Garrett's a little guy, so a little strike zone. We'll see how Barraza deals with that. There's
Excuse me if I misspoke. It's Daniel Garnett Jr. My fault on the mispronunciation.
It's Barnett, indeed.
We had it confused with one of the Monterey coaches, Dan Garrett. But upon check of the spelling, it's Daniel Garnett Jr., the second baseman, who's now in with a 2-2 count against Barraza. And on a check swing, looks like Garnett Jr. called out on strikes.
So Barraza's really dealing so far in this game. He's working the strike zone. He's pitching low in the zone. He's never really missed high. When he's missed high, it's been on 0-2 counts where he's seeing if someone wants to swing at something high and at the eyes.
Part of the challenge for this Monterey squad is that now they're only getting to the top of the order for the second time. All these guys have only had one at-bat, and this is Bishop Ward, number 44, the shortstop, right-handed batter, who looks at an outside called strike. That's a tough pitch for these righty batters to have to handle, as they're being very generous with the outside corner as a call.
And Barraza pours another one in there to Bishop Ward, running the count 1-1.
That looks like it was tailing outside as well as the pitch. That one apparently missed, however. So Ward with a heads-up play to lay off that one.
Ward's a rather large right-hander. Looks like he's got some power. Here's the pitch from Barraza. Taken high.
Almost on cue for you saying that he hasn't been missing high. He loses a little bit of control on that one. Comes in high. And this is a heck of an at-bat for Ward, who's worked it back to a full count.
And here's the pitch from Barraza. That one inside, high and tight. And that's a rare walk from Barraza.
Does a great job of hitting by Ward. Really showing some patience where he took a couple stabs early on, but then settled down and said, you know what? Go ahead, you throw some strikes at me, see if you can't get me out. Earns himself a 6-pitch walk down to first, a free pass. Now coming up second, batting second for Monterey, the third baseman, number 3, Matthew Gibbs.
Ward takes off to second base. There's the throw. Bobbled a little bit by the shortstop, and he's safe at second.
Great job of running by Ward. The shortstop just hopped on it right away and said, you know what, I'm not going to waste any time. We got an 18-run deficit to make up.
Absolutely. That's
I'm going to get myself in scoring position.
But he's got some wheels, too. He had that beat. Even if the throw was on the line, I think he was safe. The pitch from Barraza.
Now Gibbs has looked at 2
high
balls.
For a ball.
And now 2 balls, no strikes here to the left-hander.
Gibbs fights that one off. That was an inside heater for strike 1. Barraza, this is only the second time that he's had to deal with the runner in scoring position. So Monterey with an opportunity to put one on the board. Gibbs takes one right down Broadway from Barraza for strike 2. Swung on and missed.
Check that. We have been totally wrong. That's number 51, Ethan Morris, who is in the box right now for Monterey. He is a lefty. He's the lefty pitcher who's now on the hook, and now a lefty batter. That is, in fact, Ethan Morris, who has worked the count in his favor now and draws a second consecutive walk. Another great piece of
nice job by Morris.
Of hitting, quote unquote. But another great at bat for Monterey. That's Ethan Morris, the left-hander, who draws himself a walk. Now 2 free passes dealt by Barraza, and Monterey has runners on first and second. Maybe a little 2-out rally here.
Yeah, Barraza possibly getting a little lackadaisical out there with a 18-point lead, do you think?
Perhaps taking something for granted, as he's now going to have to face the righty batter, number 7, the catcher for Monterey, Danny Carnazzo.
Carnazzo looks at one high and tight. The catcher from Mexico throws to second base. Runner gets back safely.
Carnazzo has a nice an interesting open stance, that left foot being open, and then he comes in and sets that left foot in anticipation of a swing.
Barraza with another ball there. A little outside. And here comes Cruz to talk to his flamethrower, who seems to have lost the strike zone all of a sudden here in the 3rd inning.
That is the manager, Martin Cruz, for this team from Obregon, Sonora, Mexico. Right now nursing an 18-run lead here in the bottom of the 3rd. Cruz has a couple of words of wisdom to say to his pitcher, Barraza.
Looks like they're going to leave him in.
And they're going to leave him in as everyone goes back to their respective positions. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 3rd. Monterey now with a little 2-out rally. Runners on first and second.
There is
and
some
Danny
activity.
Carnazzo at the plate.
in the Mexican bullpen, as perhaps the Mexican team is thinking about replacing.
You got to think maybe he's a little tired. Barraza has dealt 2 straight walks, and now a 3-0 count here to Carnazzo. Carnazzo thought that was tight inside, and kind of
3-1 here to Carnazzo. Barraza looks in. Nice heater low in the zone from him. Carnazzo couldn't catch up with that one.
Carnazzo had the green light to swing on 3-1 there.
Here's 3-2 with 2 outs. And that one a little low, maybe inside. Looked like a good pitch from here, but we don't have the best vantage point. But Barraza clearly has lost his control.
Bruce Ball, the former pitcher, or who was the starting pitcher tonight, is now stepping into the box.
Ball reached on a error in his first at bat. He bunted to Barraza, who threw it to first base. The first baseman couldn't handle the ball. So Ball maybe thinking about the same thing. That one thrown almost behind Ball. Very, very inside by Barraza, as Ball had to jump out of the way.
And the body language from Barraza is not good.
Nope,
my unofficial pitch count has him with 30 pitches this inning.
That looks like 12-year-old frustration to me. And here's the pitch from Barraza again. Lots of velocity, but he's missing out of the zone. That's his 3rd straight ball to Ball. I'm pretty sure Ball is taking here, and he takes for ball 4, and that's the first run of the ball game for Monterey off of a 4-pitch walk by Barraza.
4 straight walks for Barraza there, and really nice to see the patience from the Monterey batters. This is only their 2nd time through the batting order. Keep that in mind, as it's now the 3rd inning with no runs having been scored, that being the first run of the day. This is number 22, Nick Stornetta, coming off the bench and looking at a called first strike. That's Nick Stornetta, number 22, the right-handed batter for Monterey.
Here's the pitch from Barraza. That one's grounded to the first baseman, who makes the put out easily for out number 3.
But not before Monterey puts a hash mark up on the board.
Indeed.
In the top of the 4th inning, with a 18-1 lead, on the mound for Monterey, that is, as the aforementioned number 51, Ethan Morris. And in the box, number 12, Samuel Favela, the shortstop for Mexico.
Favela has a double, a single, and a sac fly. And there's a ground ball foul for strike 1 from Morris.
No surprise, Favela hopping on that first pitch, as he's had a pretty solid night of hitting so far, and there's that confidence that we spoke about a little bit.
Yeah, Favela, one of the part of the thump in Sonora's lineup, staring down Morris. Here's Morris into the windup and the pitch, and that's a called strike right at the numbers. Nice pitch from Morris.
Favela leaned back a little bit there, maybe thought it was coming inside, but think about it, the lefty pitcher, that ball is coming across the plate right toward the righty batter, so that's tough to, that can be deceiving, and it makes you want to get out of the way sometimes.
And he's crowding the plate a little bit too, so could use one inside to move him back.
Morris tries to sneak him on the outside on that one, but misses. So
count is 1-2 to Favela. Wind up in the pitch. That one's taken low and inside for ball 2. 2-2 to Favela. Morris
has got a great delivery for a young left-handed pitcher.
He does. Great technique. There it is. Wind up in the pitch, and Favela just reaches out and touches someone there with that single. There was no force behind that swing. He just put bat on ball, or composite on ball, and snuck it in the hole.
That's got to be a little frustrating for Morris, because he almost just stuck his bat out there as a defensive move. and is able to plop it into the shallow left field for a base hit to start this 4th inning.
Here's Omar Olivaria, who has a walk and a 2-run home run, who hits one high and deep to center field. The center fielder tries to make a play on it but can't. Olivaria in safe with a double, and Favela into third. That was a long double.
That sure was. He got a solid bat on that one, and just over the outstretched hands of the center fielder from Monterey.
I believe that hit the very base of the fence. Here's Morris to Carlos Silva, fouls it straight back. He was right on that one. Carlos Silva has 2 singles on the day, so definitely a danger. Morris working with runners at second and third with no outs. He's got a strike on Carlos Silva, and here's the pitch. And that one hits Silva a little bit too inside. I think that one slipped out of his hand. And now Monterey's looking at the bases loaded with no outs.
And you know what? You don't think that's not frustration. That's not throwing at anybody.
No.
That ball simply just slipped off the fingers of Morris. He missed it inside.
He was
and a lefty
inside.
pitcher pitching to a lefty batter. That ball just didn't break on it. It just stayed straight down and caught the batter.
Absolutely.
Barely.
There's a rip ground ball past the third baseman. That's going to score 3 runs for Mexico as Omar Lugo is in with a stand-up double.
Omar Lugo hopped right on that, drilled it right down the baseline, just fair, just inside. And so it ended up in that large foul territory area down the third base line, which includes the bullpen area. And that ball went deep in Jack's Park here and ended up with an easy stand-up double that cleared the bases for Mexico.
Here's Mario Diaz at the plate, who has a ground rule double, a single, and reached first base on an error. So he is a danger. We saw him hit a ground rule double yesterday. And that pitch by Morris taken inside for ball 1.
Still no outs here in the top of the 4th. Monterey trailing 21-1 and trying to stop the bleeding here in this 4th inning.
Morris looks at the runner on second base. Lugo back. There's the pitch to Diaz, who chops it to the third baseman, who looks back, the runner at second, but overthrows the first baseman. And both runners are safe.
You know what? Fundamentally, that's what he's supposed to do. That's still a correct move. He just lost control of the throw over to first. He's supposed to look that guy back. He fielded it cleanly over there on the third base side, looked the runner back to second, and then was just supposed to deliver a ball to first. Unfortunately, missed his target over at first base.
You know, we've seen him make some great throws, and that seems out of character for him. There's the pitch from Morris into Yave Estrada, who has had a 2-run double, a ground rule double, and been walked. So he's 2 for 2 on the day. Morris looking in. Runners at first and third with no outs here in the 4th inning. 1 ball to Estrada. There's the pitch, and that one's over his head for ball 2. Seems like Morris every now and again has a little control issue, maybe with the grip on the ball, as it possibly slips out.
And consistently, Evan, I've seen it happen when he's being a lefty pitcher, throwing to a lefty batter. It seems like it's happening. Maybe he's not accustomed to pitching against lefty batters, as
Possible.
they chop one down to second. Looking to turn 2 here. They get the runner at second,
Nice play by the
not
second
able to
baseman.
throw it over to first.
That was a nice turn by, or attempted turn by Monterey. The run scores.
Our home plate umpire personally delivering the bat down to the first base coach for this Mexico team. And it looked like he gave some instructions perhaps, and I missed it, but perhaps the batter threw the bat after that hit. I'm not sure, but the home plate umpire wanted to personally deliver that bat down to the Mexico bench and get in a couple of words of advice.
Yeah, safety first, safety first. This is all fun and games. This is, for these young men, this is the time of their lives. Halcyon days. Halcyon days, Matt.
This is it. It's summer. These are the boys of summer. We're watching them here at the 2011 Bronco World Series here live in downtown Monterey, California at Jack's Park.
Great night to be out watching baseball. Here's the pitch from Morris, and that's grounded in the hole to the left fielder. Gets it into his cutoff man. Good fundamental baseball. And Morris and the Monterey team are looking at runners at first and second with one out.
Now batting number 8, Jorge Acosta.
Here's Acosta, who has singled and walked. Morris looking in at the sign, looks back at second, looks the runner back. Here's the pitch. That one's in there. Outside corner. Nice pitch from Morris. Morris is really trying to work the edges, and he's done a good job so far, I think.
And that's that pitch. Now it's against a righty batter. But that's that coming from his left-hand delivery. He's trying to keep it outside to the righty batters. Unfortunately, to the lefty batters, that ends up coming inside on them.
Good approach. There's a pickoff attempt to second base. And he's back safely. Morris. Wind up and the pitch. That one's outside again, looking for that outside corner call that he got before on Acosta. The count is 1-1.
That's an observant move by these young pitchers. They've seen what the home plate umpire is calling.
Absolutely.
And they say, okay, good, I'm going to try and take advantage of it myself.
There's the wind up and the pitch to Acosta. And we have a timeout called by the catcher. Going to go over some logistics with his pitcher, Morris. Acosta taking some practice swings there in the box. Looks like he's playing softball with that uppercut.
It's always interesting to watch these young players take their practice cuts and take their swings.
Yeah.
I think that's when you see that they've been watching some Major League ball on TV.
Absolutely.
Their practice swing doesn't necessarily look like their actual swing.
No. And there's that disciplined actual swing taken by the shortstop. Bobbles it a bit, throws to first over the first baseman's head. And then there's a throw home. The catcher can't hold on to the ball. And another run, that's Estrada, comes in to score off of a Monterey error.
Yeah, actually, probably one throwing error there on that play. But there were several throws across. There was a little bobbling of the ball. Then it was an overthrow to first. And then a short throw down to home as number 5, Carlos Barraza, the pitcher for this Mexico team, steps into the box to hit.
Number 5, Carlos Barraza.
Carlos Barraza has a grand slam on the night. There's the pitch, and he ropes one into left field. That one's going to make it all the way to the wall. Barraza's thinking too, but his teammate who's at second base won't let him as he stays at second base. I think Cruz probably not wanting to pour it on anymore tells his player at second base to just stay there and not be so aggressive.
A long single, but a solid single by Barraza there.
Crushed.
As he has shown, he certainly can hit the ball.
He's a big kid. I would say he's probably their best player. Smoke throwing pitcher, slugger. There's a rip to center field, and that's another home run.
Number 12, Samuel Favela, the shortstop, just solid on that hit. That took it to deep straightaway center. Now the fence there is listed as 250, and that cleared that wall easily. Though it is a short wall, only 3 feet high, that easily cleared it, and that approached 275 feet.
So Favela with that home run is now 3 for 4 with a home run, 2 singles, a double, and a sac fly. So Favela, outside of possibly the most productive offensive player tonight for Mexico.
And Mexico throws several more runs on the board. As I'm looking at the record books that's provided with the great program that they have here for the 2011 Bronco League World Series, under the category of most runs in a game for a team, the record set in 2007 by Chinese Taipei, with 27 runs in a game. We're now in the 20s here with still at least another inning to play. And this Mexico team is threatening that record.
We're still on the back half of Mexico's thump with Omar Oliveira, who has a 2-run home run on the night himself and a double. He's going to be coming up to plate, presumably, as there has been a pitching change by Monterey.
We're going to see another lefty pitcher, 2 lefty pitchers back-to-back for Monterey. This is Washaki Tibbetts, number 55. So we mentioned we hadn't seen any lefty pitchers all weekend, and now Monterey sends 2 of their bullpen, or 2 of their substitute pitchers anyway, not their starting pitcher, but 2 subs in a row have come in, and they're both going to be throwing lefty from the mound.
Monterey blessed with lefties, and you know, when these guys get to high school, they're tough to beat. These Monterey kids in this area play some good ball, and I imagine that these kids are really going to blossom once they get up to the high school level, and they're going to be tough to beat. Apparently someone lost their iPhone 4. I think it's mine, Matt.
I don't have one with me, so you could say that mine is missing as well.
I do have a phone, but I could use an iPhone 4.
So this new pitcher, we're going to see what Tibbetts, number 55 from Monterey, has in store for us. But kind of a joy to watch these young players throwing lefty. We're going to see as Tibbetts faces his first batter. It's a righty batter for Mexico, number 57, the catcher, Omar Olivaria,
who has a 2-run home run on the night, a double, a walk, and reached on an error.
Omar Oliveira.
The bases are cleared, obviously, after that last home run. 1 out here in the 4th. Tibbetts looks in, and there's the pitch, and that one is a loud, long foul ball onto the batting cages and almost onto the street.
That was a shot.
We know
that looked like it could have cleared the actual fence here for Jack's Park.
I think it could have. We do know that Oliveira has home run power, as he has hit a 2-run home run already in this ball game. Tibbetts, wind up in the pitch. There's a ground ball to the shortstop, makes a nice diving play, throws to first base for the out. Nice play by the shortstop, Bishop Ward, to get that much needed.
What a name, Evan. That sounds like a big leaguer name to me.
Absolutely. Bishop
Ward, number 44. Fantastic play.
Draft him now.
He dove and rolled and hopped
name.
up and still was able to deliver it to first in time. Great play by him as Carlos Silva, number 28, steps in to hit from the left-hand side of the plate for Mexico.
Silva was hit by a pitch and has 2 singles on the night.
I hate to draw attention to this as I don't think it's the best record to have. But Mexico has now tied the record for the Bronco World Series for most runs in a game by a team with 27 runs, tying Chinese Taipei from 2007 with 27 runs in this game tonight. And they've done it in a variety of ways.
They have. The home run ball, ground rule doubles, C&I singles. Here's the pitch from Tibbetts. That one is blooped into left center for a single, as Carlos Silva has another single under his belt.
And now number 23, Omar Lugo, stepping back to the plate. The right-handed batter who started the game in left field for Mexico. He's going to see how if he can get dialed in on Tibbetts' pitching.
Tibbetts with a runner on first, pitching from the stretch. There's the windup, and Lugo, fooled by that one. He was way ahead of that one. I think these 12-year-old kids are thinking like 12-year-old kids, Matt, and they're swinging for the fences. as would happen. Tibbetts, nice pickoff attempt to first base.
That's 2 lefty pitchers in a row for Monterey. We had Ethan Morris and now Washaki Tibbetts with a nice pickoff move from a lefty pitcher over to first base.
There's the pitch from Tibbetts, and that one's fouled back into the stands, a souvenir.
What a great souvenir it would be from the 2011 Bronco World Series. Some fantastic games and some great baseball that we've seen exhibited here this year.
And from a record-producing game.
Correct.
Tibbetts, wind up in the pitch. That one's a bit low and outside to Lugo.
That's a great job of catching by Danny Carnazzo, number 7.
Absolutely.
He picked that one up out of the dirt, was able to snag it in the glove and keep the runner where he was at first.
That's Carlos Silva at first, taking a non-existent lead. Tibbetts wind up in the pitch to Lugo. That one's high over the catcher's head, a wild pitch. And Carlos Silva takes second base on that overthrow.
One thing we have seen from the Monterey lefty pitchers is that ball slipping out of their grip a little bit.
Yeah.
And we've seen that ball sail up and high. Not that they're throwing at anybody or it's out of frustration. It's just losing control a little bit, maybe just in the grip.
There's Tibbetts to the plate, and that's chopped to the third baseman. Tough hop. That was an in-betweener. And Cruz holds his man, Carlos Silva, at third base.
That's number 11, John. Was a sub in at third base for Monterey, and in his defense, that was a difficult hop.
That was a tough hop. That's an in-betweener. He almost had it, too.
Absolutely. It would have been a phenomenal play if he could have snagged it.
I would, if I was the official scorer, I would score that a hit. So
Yeah,
Tibbetts,
in our humble opinion, don't think it was an error.
No. Tibbetts, the wild pitch home. The catcher can't seem to find it. There's some confusion at home plate as number 28, Carlos Silva, makes it 28-1, breaking the record.
Yeah, unofficially, according, no one here at the park has announced it, but according to the Bronco World Series statistics provided in this year's program, 28 runs in a game is a new record set by this team from Obregón, Sonora, Mexico at the 2011 Bronco World Series.
And Tibbetts with a pickoff attempt at third base. Tibbetts looking in at the sign. And here's the pitch to Diaz for a ball, low and inside. Tibbetts looks in. Wind up. There's the pitch. Bit high to Diaz. Diaz, again, a little diminutive. Is that redundant? I believe it was.
Trying to come up with. I didn't bring my thesaurus tonight, Evan. I would have been able to come up with a better sounding word for someone of short stature.
I apologize. There's another pitch over the catcher's head for ball 4, and Diaz takes his base.
Good job by both Tibbetts and Carnazzo on that one, communicating a little better than they had on the previous one. Carnazzo flipped the mask off. Tibbetts sprinted in to cover home, and that one did not result in another run.
Yeah, it appeared on that pass ball previously that scored the 28th run that Carnazzo just couldn't find the ball, which not unusual in a night game. Is this Yave Estrada?
This is, in fact,
and
the
he's
starting first baseman for the Mexico team, number 9.
A strike on the outside corner.
Showing a little Big Papi, David Ortiz, emulating in his practice swings there. A professional left-handed batter.
And here's the pitch from Tibbetts in the dirt. Picked up nicely, stopped nicely by the catcher Carnazzo. Diaz takes second on the wild pitch in the dirt. That was a nice block by Carnazzo. It's a brave thing for a 12-year-old to take on a ball coming at you pretty hard in the dirt like that. You got to hand it to these young catchers. They're looking inside here. And there's the pitch, misses outside from Tibbetts. Yave Estrada has hit a 2-run double, a ground rule double, and has walked. Tibbetts looking in, takes the sign. Here's the delivery. Bit low for a ball. So the count is now 3-1 to the uppercutting Yave Estrada. Wind up in the pitch. Estrada fouls that one into our cameraman. Nice catch.
Now a full count. 3 balls and 2 strikes for Tibbetts, who's still dealing to Estrada. Estrada trying to shake his hands off there. Maybe got some, would you say, some bee stings in his hands?
Absolutely. Yeah, he fouled that one off that composite.
Our cameraman's still in good shape down there on the third base side of the field after taking that foul ball from Estrada.
There's the pitch from Tibbetts, and Estrada just lunges at it. He had no chance on that pitch. And Estrada with the strikeout.
And Monterey gets out of the inning, and good to see these kids hustle off. They are not looking at the scoreboard, and all these guys come hustling off. Monterey coming to the plate. This is our first batter for Monterey. Will be number 11, John.
John Nuttall, third base.
John Nuttall, the third baseman that we mentioned, who probably shouldn't have been credited with an error in the last inning because he took a hot shot down at third base.
That's tough to handle. He almost had it. Tough to handle. But
absolutely, off a hot shot, off a tough hop, as he looked at a called first strike from the new pitcher, number 04, Christian Arce.
Arce, wind up in the pitch. That one's fouled back into the stands by John.
It's a great rip by Nuttall on that one.
Probably his ancestor named one of the most interesting woodpeckers that you'll encounter in North America, Nuttall's woodpecker.
That is correct. I'm not sure if it's spelled the same, but...
Spelled the same.
Oh, I sit corrected. It is, in fact, spelled the same.
Nuttall's woodpecker.
Now we've talked about 2 interesting pieces of this, one from a Monterey side and one from the Mexico side.
A North American animal and a Central American animal. Like to represent the animals.
That's great as Arce deals inside there, misses inside. Nuttall able to avoid catching one in the helmet there and backs out. Now 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And here's the windup and the pitch, and that one is over the head of John Nuttall.
Nuttall again avoiding contact there, and not the kind of contact that they want as a batter, but contact with his helmet on an inside pitch from the righty pitcher to the righty batter.
And it looks like Arce's having a similar problem that the Monterey pitchers were having with, a slippery ball, perhaps. Sometimes those new balls are
That's 3 straight
slick.
pitches way inside to Nuttall, and like we said, we don't think it's a sportsmanship issue.
Absolutely not, yeah.
Just righty to righty on that one. Maybe lost control, was trying to come inside on him. Now switching to the other side of the plate, Arce is going to have to deal righty to lefty now.
And there's the pitch, and again, that one's way outside. Nuttall's going to take for second and get there easily as that one went to the backstop.
Heads up base running by John on that one to notice the pass ball.
Absolutely.
As his teammate, number 28, Ronan McCarthy, is in batting from the left-hand side of the plate.
And here's the pitch to McCarthy. Again, outside. Arce is missing in the same zone. To a right-hander, he was almost hitting him. To this left-hander, it's just too easy to take. So Arce with control issues early on. There's a strike on the outside corner. I thought that was maybe off the plate a little bit.
But that's obvious that's what he was trying for on those 5 straight pitches that were all in the same area. He was trying to pick up that outside corner as he deals here, looking to do it again, but misses just outside to work the count to, he is way behind in the count now at 3 balls and 1 strike.
In danger of walking 2 in a row here is Arce. Looks in. Here's the pitch. That one is grounded to Arce. And we have a game of pickle going on in between third base and second base. And the Mexican team fumbles the ball. And John Nuttall is safe at third base. And McCarthy gets into second. So Monterey, with their first, second, and third opportunity of the night.
Absolutely, with no outs, there is hope. And that's what I was talking about. Look in the background of your monitor, their picture there. Look at those guys. They're all up off the bench. They're cheering on their team. Nuttall being aggressive on the running, got caught in a game of pickle between second and third, and a heads-up play by McCarthy to advance to second. Second and third, no outs for Monterey here in the bottom of the fourth.
And here's Arce, who hits number 21.
Now the home
right
plate umpire
chest,
coming
Michael
out
Wilson.
simply to get the ball, and he's going to hand deliver, or nearly hand deliver this one to the pitcher.
And it looks like
maybe just to make
Cruz is
sure
coming out.
everybody's okay. Martin Cruz, the manager of this Obregon Sonora Mexico team, coming out to have a chat with Arce to make sure that, just to make sure everything's okay.
And, you know, that's exactly where Arce has been missing every single time. He almost hit John there. John was small enough to avoid them. Wilson, not. Wilson, much bigger kid for his age, and he took one, looks like, right in the chest. Good place to take one if you're going to take one.
And as a righty pitcher, it just means he's simply throwing straight down to where the right-handed batter would be standing. He's trying to attack that for a right-handed batter inside corner. Now to a lefty batter would be the outside corner of the plate.
He's
and
releasing
he misses in the exact same spot again.
Yep, he's releasing the ball too early. He's not following through on his windup. Something he needs to work on in practice. There's the pitch, and he gets that outside strike that he got before, making the count 1-1.
I wonder if that's what Martin Cruz, the manager of Mexico, came out to tell him.
Possibly. That's what I would tell him. There's the pitch again, and that one is a ball a little high.
Oh, that was a pretty good-looking pitch from our
pitch.
vantage point. Once again, we don't have the best seat.
2-1. Here's Arce home. That one, check swing, but was a strike anyway, making the count even 2-2 in the fourth inning here. Arce has somehow made the bases loaded with...
This is number 19, Daniel Garnett Jr. In the box for Monterey. No outs now. He's worked it to a full count. See how he handles this pitch. Misses outside, and Arce has now walked in a run for Monterey.
And now it's 28-2. Sonora, Mexico over Monterey, as Nuttall made an interesting way around the bases.
He did a great job in the game of pickle he got caught in there between second and third, and ended up safe at third.
He was walked.
The crowd a little bit re-energized. These Monterey fans getting back into this game.
Yeah. And here's Ward, number 44, who takes a strong rip at that fastball. It looks like Arce's made a correction. I think Cruz did talk to him about following through. He wasn't following through. He was releasing too early. Looks like he's getting into the zone much better now. And he's bringing some heat, too. Now that he's found his stroke, he's bringing some heat.
And he's now throwing across the plate. And now for this righty batter, looks like he's trying to go to the outside corner for this righty batter. And he's coming across the plate with nice heat. Good speed from Arce. Yeah. Something we haven't seen so far as he throws in a called second strike there. 1 ball, 2 strikes now from Arce.
Bases loaded still. And here's the pitch to Ward, who hits one past the third baseman. And Monterey, now in this inning, there's a play at the plate, and the runner is out. That was Wilson, who made a bold attempt to score. Good idea. Nice call by the third base coach to send him. Why not? But he's out at home.
There was some aggressive base running.
Absolutely.
But not before the run did score before that.
Yeah.
So Monterey now only with 1 out here in the inning, contrary to what the scoreboard says here at Jacks Park.
Should be 28-3, I believe, also.
They're just checking the official scorebook, I'm sure, to make sure they have the outs and the 1 ball, no strike count correct, and the 28-3 score correct.
And there it is, 28-3. Here's the pitch from Arce. There's a high fly ball into a nebulous zone, and the Mexican players collide. We may have an injured player. 2 runs are going to score on that Texas Leaguer. time is called as the second baseman appears to be injured, and of course that is the last thing that we want to have happen here.
There's
This
the
is all
manager,
fun and
Martin
games.
Cruz,
Martin
out
Cruz.
to have a chat with his player, and it's something you never like to see as an injury at any level. And this one was really just a lack of communication, I think, and that's what Cruz is out there to talk about. It looks like Sotelo is fine. That's Flavio Sotelo, number 33. Looks like he's fine, but Cruz went out to just have a chat with his players and say, look, we've done that 1,000 times in practice, and you know whose call that is? It's the guy coming from the outfield.
Absolutely,
He
that's
has
the
to
right
call
fielder's
off.
call.
He has to call off the infielder. Now, two things could have happened there. Either the outfielder didn't call it loud enough or clear enough, or the infielder didn't listen. Either way, it results in a miscommunication, a collision, what I would call an error, and consequently run scoring for Monterey.
I would call it just being 12 years old.
Except that it did happen in the Yankees-Red Sox game. That happened tonight. Jeter collided with the left fielder.
Or it could be called being overpaid and bored.
Whoa, easy.
Yeah,
no one's paid here. We know that for sure. Of
course.
As this is the 2011 Bronco World Series.
Arce into Carnazo with a 1-1 count. Looks the runner at first. There's the pitch, and that's a called strike. Snap throw from the catcher.
Carnazo with a nice, an interesting looking stance here. You'll catch it in the picture. He starts the stance open, that left field set back, and as the pitcher goes into his delivery, he'll step into it and look to see if he can get a hit.
Carnazo.
That time he's a little out in front and pulls one foul.
Arce definitely found the strike zone here after that correction that his manager made. We've seen Cruz do quite a bit of managing today, and all of it's been successful. Arce looking in. There's the pitch. That one is a bloop into right field, and Carnazo has a base hit. And we have runners at first and second with one out here in the fourth.
Your score here in the bottom of the fourth is, check that, Mexico 28 and Monterey 5. Monterey able to put some runs on the board now as number 55, Washaki Tibbetts, the left-handed pitcher, steps in. Interesting, he's a lefty pitcher but a righty batter.
Yeah, it is interesting. I wonder if he's a switch hitter. Could be.
It could be. It's interesting. We've seen the opposite tonight. We've seen righty throwers come in as lefty batters. For the first time, we've seen a lefty thrower, and in this case the pitcher, come in as a righty batter and look at a called strike.
Count 1-1. Arce looks at the runner at second base. Here's the pitch. That one's outside for ball 2. Arce showing that 12-year-old, you know, slunking the shoulders a bit. I think he's a little disappointed that he's not hitting the strike zone as much as he'd like to. There's a nice rip from Tibbetts.
That was a great swing from Tibbetts. Just missed it, and it came firing pretty hot back to the backstop.
Looks like we have a juggler.
And the entertainment comes in all forms here at the Bronco World Series. As you see, one of our...
Is that our very own?
I believe so. Although it's a little shady in the lighting there. I'm not positive who it was, but I think could have been someone we know well.
There was strike 3 to Tibbetts as he couldn't catch up to that Arce fastball.
So now 2 outs here in the bottom of the fourth for Monterey.
Here's number 22, Stornetta, standing in, right-handed batter. Takes ball 1 from Arce, who has runners at second and first. Wind up and the pitch. That's poured in for a strike, making the count 1-1.
Stornetta has a great opportunity here with runners on first and second to continue to cut into this Mexico lead.
Absolutely. Here's the pitch from Arce, fouled straight back by Stornetta. He was right on that one. Missed that one by a couple inches.
Although the score may not indicate it, Evan, it's not for lack of effort, it's not for lack of skill that this Monterey team finds itself trailing by 23 runs here.
Absolutely not. They've where we're at now. They've actually become better over time, and perhaps they just needed to warm up.
There's a chance to get through the batting order the second and now third time for them.
And there's strike 3 to Stornetta from Arce.
Strike 3 there. That completes 4 innings. So Mexico's been on both sides of the game so far this weekend, and tonight they are leading now at the top of the 5th, 28-5 over the host team Monterey, as number 33, Flavio Sotelo, steps into the box for Mexico.
Tibbetts with the pitch. And that's low for ball 1. Tibbetts looking in for the sign. Sotelo has a single, fielder's choice on the night.
Notice as a lefty pitcher by Tibbetts, no runners on, but he does deal from the stretch as a lefty. Nice looking delivery from this young pitcher, this young lefty pitcher.
He does. He has a high leg kick. There's a ground ball to the third baseman, John, my bad, who throws out Sotelo pretty handily.
John Nuttall, number 11 for Monterey. Nice piece of fielding. And this is what we were talking about. It's good fundamental baseball that's happening here. I don't care that 12-year-olds are doing it. It's just fun to watch.
You know, I think I said JJ because I was thinking about Nuttles, and Nuttles is a bird, a woodpecker.
It is, in fact, John as number
Nuttles.
8.
There's a fly
Jorge
ball
Acosta
to deep right field, and that's a home run.
And heaven, I got to say, I was pretty fooled by that. I thought it was a pop-up.
It looked that way. It got out of here pretty quickly, though.
The wind is not blowing very hard at all, as all the flags on our flagpoles are pretty flat. They are laying down. There's almost no wind to speak of tonight here in Monterey. And I'm very surprised at that shot by the starting third baseman, Jorge Acosta, for Mexico, that got out of the park.
Batting number 13, Rodolfo Garcia.
And here is Rodolfo Garcia with his first at-bat of the night, as the manager, Cruz, has switched a lot of his players in and out, largely due to the score. Tibbetts looks in. Here's the pitch. That one's inside, apparently, but called for a strike. We have one out here in the 5th. The score is 29-5. Sonora, Mexico over Monterey. Tibbetts looks in. Rodolfo Garcia looking confident in the batter's box. And there's a drive into right center field that looks like it could turn into a double for Rodolfo, as he's legging it in for a stand-up double.
Nice job by Garcia, considering it's his first at-bat of the evening. A sub coming off the bench for this Mexico team. Number 13, Rodolfo Garcia.
It's a good approach. All these hitters from Mexico have nice approaches at the plate.
Speaking of nice approaches, a young man who has had a great approach all night is this guy who's now stepping into the box, number 12, Samuel Favela, the starting shortstop.
He has a home run, 2 singles, a sac fly, and a double on the night. So he has some power. Tibbetts looks at second. Here's the pitch. That one is a strike and flied out to the right fielder. An easy put out for our right fielder, Michael Wilson, who was hit by a pitch in the last inning. Up to the plate now with 2 outs in the 5th is number 57, Omar Olivaria. There's a 1 hopper to the catcher from Tibbetts for ball 1. As you can see, Garcia there at second base takes his lead, quite a liberal lead. Tibbetts not even paying attention to him. Wind up in the pitch, and that one is nubbed to the first baseman. Steps on the bag, and that's 3.
Look at the hustle from these young players coming off the field.
Yeah,
that's what I love to see.
That's impressive.
They do not care what the score is. They're just out here to play ball, and they're still hustling.
Playing ball.
a little bit of everything. We see some great defensive plays in the field by Monterey. The first couple of innings, they ended every inning with a great defensive effort.
A diving catch, a nice double play at third base. We've seen a pickle. We've seen home runs.
Speaking of a pickle, this is John Nuttall. This is the guy who got caught in that pickle and came out of it alive, so to speak.
Nuttall is squirrely.
Not to be confused with... Anyway, looks at a ball there, and Nuttall now checking down to third, looking for a sign to see if he's supposed to do something fancy with this pitch. No signal indicated as he steps back in with a 1-1 count.
Arce pours in a strike on the outside corner to Nuttall. Nuttall worked a walk to begin his interesting odyssey around the bases that brought him home. There's the pitch from Arce. Nuttall has a nice approach at the plate there. He's
a solid batter. He certainly showed his patience with his last at-bat. And after getting down in the count, earned himself a walk. And now he's in the hole here. 1 ball, 2 strikes as Arce wheels and deals. And catches him in the dirt. John a little bit fooled on that. And that's a strike 3. 1 out here now in the bottom of the 5th. Monterey's last chance to put some runs on the board and close this gap as they trail 29-5 here in the bottom of the 5th.
Here's number 8.
Tyler Kirk.
Tyler Kirk.
Play now, number 8. Tyler Kirk.
Tyler Kirk facing Arce for the first time tonight. Arce wind up in the pitch. That's a strike.
To be honest, you can't miss Kirk in that shiny red helmet.
Yeah, that thing is candy apple red, huh?
What a great paint job on that helmet.
Yeah.
He's now looked, in fact, at speaking of good-looking, 2 good-looking pitches from Arce and finds himself in the hole. No balls, 2 strikes.
Arce wind up in the pitch. Trying to get Kirk to lunge at a low and outside off-speed pitch. Kirk's not fooled. Here's Arce with the delivery. And that one swung on and missed for strike 3 by Kirk. That was another off-speed pitch. Kirk definitely fooled on that one. He was way ahead of it. Arce, this is the first time that he's really shown that off-speed pitch.
Nice job by Arce on that one as the third batter of the inning steps to play for Monterey. This is the starting right fielder, Michael Wilson, number 21. Looks at a ball inside. 1 ball, no strikes.
Willison was hit by a pitch in his last at-bat. And here's the pitch from Arce, who's found the strike zone.
There he is again. Arce is a right-handed pitcher attacking the outside of the plate for those right-handed batters. What from our perspective looks to be tailing away and outside, ends up catching that outside corner. 1-1 now, and a swinging second strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes. So this team from Sonora, Mexico, 1 strike away from ending this game here in the bottom of the 5th from the 2011 Bronco World Series.
Arce deals, and there's a pop-up. The third baseman is calling for it, and he makes the put-out to end the ball game.
That ends our game. Our final score, Obregón, Sonora, Mexico, 29, Monterey 5, in a Mercy Rule shortened game here at the 2011 Bronco World Series. Thank you for tuning in, Evan. It's been a great night for baseball.
It has been a great night, Matt.
And this game this tournament continues. We still have several more days. Thank you for watching us on demand at MCAET.org or perhaps on Comcast Channel 26.
And you can also find us on Facebook, facebook.com/MCAET.org. So long from Jack's Park in Monterey. We'll see you tomorrow.